There was a time when I caught the subway in Baltimore almost every day during rush hour, after hours. I frequently caught the subway to work. So I'm trying to imagine the horror of some of the folks in the subway during rush hour in Brooklyn, New York. A gunman wearing a gas mask set off smoke grenades and fired a barrage of bullets inside a rush hour subway train in Brooklyn, wounding at least 10 people on Tuesday. Officers are trying to track down the renter of the van, possibly connected to the violence that happened Tuesday morning. Detectives said that the investigators are not sure whether the man identified as Frank R. James, 62 years old, had any link to the subway attack. So he's a person of interest. Authorities are looking at the man's apparent social media posts, which led officials to tighten security in New York City. The mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, the police commissioner, called the posts concerning. He called those posts concerning. Of course, we're talking about this subway attack in New York, and it transformed the morning commute into a horror scene. Smoke-filled underground train, an onslaught of at least 33 bullets, screaming riders running through the station, bloody people laying on the platform, folks trying to administer aid. It was a nightmare. As I said, I used to catch the subway in Baltimore every day, and I've caught the subway in New York several times, and it's a lot. So I cannot imagine the horror of the folks trying to ride the train this morning in Brooklyn. So people are describing what they first thought were popping sounds, a textbook dropping, that type of noise. People started moving towards the front of the train, and then he realized there was smoke. Jordan Javier says when the train pulled into the station, people ran out and were directed to another train across the platform. Passengers wept and prayed as they rode, some of them thinking this was going to be their last ride. Many of them just grateful to be alive. 5 gunshot victims were in critical condition, but expected to survive. At least a dozen people who escaped gunshot wounds were treated for smoke inhalation and other injuries. So when you have situations like this, sometimes the fear and the panic and the paranoia of folks who are not injured can often cause more damage. The attack is not being investigated as terrorism, but police are not ruling anything out. The motive of the shooter is unknown. So sitting in the back of the train's second car, the gunman tossed 2 smoke grenades on the floor, pulled out a Glock 9mm semi-automatic handgun, and then started firing. A rider's video shows a person raising an arm and pointing at something as 5 bangs sounded. Passengers in the smoke-filled car pounded on the door to an adjacent car trying to escape. So, there's so much horror for these riders. Investigators believe that the shooter's gun jammed and kept him from firing more. So 2 law enforcement officials who were not actually authorized to discuss the investigation, spoke about that. Police said that they found the weapon along with extended magazines, a hatchet, a detonated and undetonated smoke grenade, a black garbage can, a rolling cart, gasoline, and the key to a U-Haul van. So this particular key to this van led investigators to James, who has addresses in Philly and in Wisconsin. The detectives said that the van was later found unoccupied near a subway station where investigators determined the gunman entered the train system. So they have this person of interest that they are looking for. So there are some videos, YouTube videos that were apparently posted by this person of interest. And he talked a lot of black nationalist rhetoric, talked some violent language, some really wild comments. Some of these comments were directed at other black people. The person of interest is black. One posted on April the 11th criticizes crime against black people, saying that drastic action is needed to change things. This is definitely not the way you do that. Definitely not the way you do that. So this attack unnerved the city. City's on guard. There is a rise in gun crimes. There's an ever-present threat of terrorism. A lot of New Yorkers and just Americans in general, a little jittery about riding the subway station, especially in the country's biggest subway system. So there is an increased policing at transportation hubs from Philly to Connecticut. Times are tense, and this individual is still on the loose. The person is dangerous. Governor Kathy Hochul, Democrat, warned at a midday news conference. The president, Joe Biden, praised the first responders who jumped into action, including civilians who didn't hesitate to help their fellow passengers and try to shield them. So it is something. New York has faced a spat of shootings and high-profile bloodshed in recent months, including on the city's subway systems. One of the most shocking was back in January. A woman was pushed to her death in front of a train by a stranger. The mayor of New York is actually isolating right now following a positive COVID test that he received on Sunday. And there's just been an uptick of COVID-19 cases in New York, New Jersey, Philly, Connecticut, and other areas. So we have this COVID-19 uptick. You have this just a terrible terrible subway shooting in the New York system. Early morning, rush hour, crazy, just crazy. You had Don McKay in here, of course, the Don McKay Show, theDonMcKayShow.com, onfiretelevision.com, and we're talking about this terrible shooting. Do this, take a quick break, come right back with more of the program right after this. Welcome back. You made Don McKay in here, the DonMcKayShow.com, onfiretelevision.com. And, it is one of those things. So we talk about New York. We're talking about the violence today at the subway station with the shooting and all of that. New York is not a place where things happen and many folks are not talking about it. So also in the news, New York's Lieutenant Governor, Brian Benjamin is his name, resigned today. And he resigned in the wake of his arrest in a federal corruption investigation. Just a big political scandal and a crisis for the governor, Kathy Hochul, 7 months after she selected Benjamin, this gentleman right here, as a partner to make a fresh start in an office that was already rocked by scandal. If you remember, the Governor Cuomo just had a scandal a few months ago, and he had to resign. Kathy Hochul was the lieutenant governor, and she took over as governor and appointed Brian Benjamin, which you see right here, as her lieutenant governor. So he's a Democrat. And in the indictment, he was accused of participating in a scheme. And in this scheme, of course, you know, what's involved? Money. So he accused of participating in this scheme to obtain campaign contributions from a real estate investor or real estate developer in exchange for Benjamin's agreement to use his influence as a state senator to get a $50,000 grant for state funds for a nonprofit organization that the developer controlled. This is a bribe, ultimately. So facing charges of bribery, fraud, conspiracy, falsification of records, Benjamin pled not guilty today at an initial appearance in Manhattan federal court. What is going on? Like, what were you thinking? He was released on bail, which was set at $250K. Terms of his release call for his travel to be restricted and bar him from returning to the state capitol in Albany. He submitted his resignation to the governor hours later. Did I mention that he's running for office? He's running for, which would essentially be election for the first time. The governor, accepted his resignation effective immediately, she said today. While the legal process plays out, it is clear to both of us that he cannot continue to serve as lieutenant governor. New Yorkers deserve absolute confidence in their government, and I will continue working every day to deliver to them, Hochul said in a statement. Man, this could not come at a worse time. Could not have come at a worse time. Governor Hochul is running for her actual election. And this guy was set up to be, you know, actually elected lieutenant governor, and he screwed that up. His attorneys say that he's suspending his campaign to focus on defending his actions in court, and said that, you know, the grant in question was used to buy school supplies. Man, you talk about a weak defense. Really? That's the best that you got? They say that there was nothing inappropriate about the grant that he's accused of receiving. And he says, his attorneys, that he will focus his energies on explaining in court why his actions were laudable, not criminal. Oh, no, wait. Why would you think he was committing a crime? They say, right? He looks forward to when his case is finished so he can rededicate himself to public service. I don't know if anybody's going to be rocking with him in the public service area, right? He's no Marion Barry. Hochul in September selected Benjamin, then a state lawmaker, to serve as the second in command when she became governor, taking over for, of course, the resigned Andrew Cuomo. So he had the allegations of sexual harassment, 11 women. He denied that. And then you turn around and the next group in office, the lieutenant governor, has to resign on controversy. Just a bad time right now. So Hochul was Cuomo's lieutenant governor. Now she has to find another lieutenant governor now that she has taken over in that spot. Did I mention that this is an election year for her? He's campaigning. He's running for office right now. So her campaign office did not respond to messages about what her plans are moving forward, who's going to be her new lieutenant governor and who's going to be her running mate. She's trying to figure that out. Benjamin was the state's second black lieutenant governor. During his legislature career, he emphasized, check this out, criminal justice reform and affordable housing. His district included most of central Harlem. He was born and raised by Caribbean immigrant parents. Man, talk about making the hood look bad. Hopefully, the truth will come out of this, but it does not look good. New York law makes it tough to remove Benjamin from the June primary ballot. He couldn't move out of New York to disqualify himself from running for office, or the state Democratic Party could let him run for a down ballot office. The Democratic Party said that they are exploring all options. So they're not really ready to outline what they're considering, but they look to do it quickly. Now, Benjamin was not without controversy. 2 months after he became lieutenant governor, and I think this is where a lot of his problems stem from. 2 months after he became lieutenant governor, a real estate developer who steered campaign contributions toward Benjamin's failed bid for New York City Comptroller was indicted. So then federal authorities accused Gerald Migdol of wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and aggravated identity theft in illegally giving donations to Benjamin's campaign. So the indictment said that Benjamin and others at his direction or on behalf of him also engaged in a series of lies and deceptions to cover up the scheme that stretched from 2019 to 2021. So they falsified campaign donor forms, misled regulators, and provided false information in vetting forms Benjamin submitted while being considered to be appointed as the lieutenant governor. So he lied to everybody and also lied to Governor Hochul. Had he been honest, maybe she would not have even selected him. Prosecutors had previously not made any accusations about Benjamin and his campaign, said at the time of the arrest of the real estate developer that they had forfeited any improper donations as soon as they were discovered. I guess that was not really the case. More recently, reports came out saying that Benjamin had been, there had been some issues regarding his finances even before Hochul picked him as lieutenant governor. So before Benjamin's arrest and resignation, Hochul defended him, right? She said last week that she had the utmost confidence in him. She said last week that she did not know of any subpoenas when she tapped Benjamin to be her number two. Now she has all this egg on her face. But I mean, she didn't know. But not knowing kind of makes her look like, not necessarily competent or just not on top of things. Of course, Republicans jumping all over this. Fellow Democrats called for his resignation. And as I often have talked about, black politicians in a lot of instances just getting the blues. Or whether it's Baltimore, whether it is New York. Now, it is just a long history of lawmakers and other Albany leaders who have been engulfed in allegations of wrongdoing. Not just black politicians, but I mean just New York politicians in general. You had Cuomo, that whole debacle. I mean, Elliot Spitzer, that whole debacle. Former New York Assembly Speaker Sheldon Silver, he 2015 he was arrested on federal corruption charges. I mean, it's just a long list, and unfortunately, Benjamin joins that list and joins a list of conspiracy, committing fraud, accused politicians just joining the ranks, and just definitely not a good look, man. So I mean, whatever happens, I mean, his name is so tarnished. I don't see how he recovers from this. He's definitely not going to be lieutenant governor. Resign from that, and whether he's on the ballot or not, it's a bad look. So when you look at Governor Hochul, having her name attached to this and all of the negative press that he's going to get, it is just a nightmare. Running for office, the last thing she wants is her name, the governor, her name connected to this kind of foolishness. Just tune in. She made Don McKay in here, the DonMcKayShow.com, OnFireTelevision.com. And the Legendary Lifestyle Cafe is a community-based wellness space driven by local business partnerships and provides health-conscious foods and products. Located at 1301 North Broadway in Baltimore, the Legendary Lifestyle Cafe is open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Check this out. This is what they have. Plant-based food, cold-pressed juice, wellness products like sage, crystals, organic loose herbs, and much more. They have apparel. There are plenty of educational resources, aka books, right? If you need a space to meet or work, they have Wi-Fi available. The Legendary Lifestyle Cafe also has delivery options. You can check them out on all social media at Legendary Lifestyle Cafe or visit legendarylifestylecafe.com. So it has been rumored for a while. I think I said it just as early as, or as late as last week, that Baltimore City State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby was going to be announcing her reelection run for Baltimore State's Attorney. So despite her upcoming trial, she don't care nothing about that trial. She is going to get reelected to her job. She released a 3-minute long announcement video, which I really liked, set against the backdrop of the Kanye West song Jesus Walks. Oh, her opponents, her naysayers, they have got to be angry about this. Who does she think she is walking down the streets of Baltimore with Jesus Walks playing? A whole bunch of supporters, including her husband and kids, at her side. Who does she think she is? That's probably what the haters are saying. That is probably what the haters are saying. So Mosby said that she is proud of the work that she does. Oh, yeah, she got up there. She's on this video defending her record. She is talking about bringing real reform and the meaning of progress in Baltimore. Mosby, would be the third Democratic nominee seeking the position of Baltimore City State's Attorney. She's going to face off with Ivan Bates and Thiru Vignarajah in the primary. Ironically, she has beaten these gentlemen before, these other attorneys before. So she is looking forward. Said that there is so much more work to be done, but she is more confident than ever that Baltimore is on the verge of scripting our greatest chapter ever. And I'm running for re-election as state's attorney because I love Baltimore. I love our people. She said in the announcement, we take whatever is thrown our way and keep pushing. We keep fighting. We keep moving forward, she said. Now, Mosby still faces some perjury charges related to a COVID-19 financial hardship withdrawal of her own money and an alleged false statement on a loan application. New trial date is set for September, but she has this July election, and I think that she will do this. I think that she will be successful. I think that the charges are really, really thin. I don't see it. I'm surprised that this is what they're going for. You know, her opponents, the ones that try to take her down. She says that she is innocent of the charges that have been levied against her. And, this is I just feel like it's been a personal attack. She's upset some folks, and she kind of outlined some of the things in the video, the announcement video, that have folks so upset. Some of the things that she has done to really hold it down. Some of the things that she's focused on are the very things that have folks angry with her, right? And she's tough. She has not run. She has not buckled under the pressure. She has continued to move forward, right? So she is seeking the third term as Baltimore City's state's attorney. She is the top prosecutor in Baltimore, and she's coming hard. And this is right before the deadline, which is what I predicted. The deadline is Friday. Deadline's Friday, and she came out just before the deadline to make this announcement. Do you support Marilyn Mosby if you're in Baltimore? I think that time is going to tell. She has the most name recognition of all of the candidates. She's the incumbent, and all of that works to her advantage, right? All of that works to her advantage. Of course, here on the program, we deliver the biggest political and trending news stories of the day with original reporting from across this country. I like to be fun. I like to be upbeat, but I also have to expose what is really going on. I give you politics from an independent perspective. If a Republican is wrong, I'm going to call him out. If a Democrat is wrong, I'm going to call him out too. We spent most of this time today dumping on a Democrat who, got in trouble in New York, right? I'm going to call it out. Of course, you can join me weekdays, 6 p.m. here on firetelevision.com, thediamondkshow.com. And of course, the Diamond K Show is an On Fire Television production. You can get the program on demand, the WRF Radio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, of course, youtube.com/DJ Diamond K. And I'll be back here tomorrow, 6 p.m. On Fire Television is an advertiser-supported audio and video network. You get breaking news, podcasts, and TV shows covering topics that are important to our culture. Wow. This landscape during election season, it is really crazy. You never know what to expect. Check us out, as I said, on YouTube, youtube.com/DJ Diamond K. I'll see you guys tomorrow.